finally break free from that cycle. To really get what's going on, I want us to step into the shoes of someone right in the middle of this feeling. We're gonna feel the intense, heart-pounding experience of a student trying to write a story against a deadline. I think this is a feeling many of us know all too well. And there it is. The pressure is on, instantly. You might have had weeks, but now it's all down to a few hours, maybe even minutes. And that single thought, that I've got nothing, that's where the anxiety spiral really begins. This metaphor is just so powerful. Every little distraction, a person walking by, a notification on your phone, it becomes one of those caterpillars just chewing away at your focus, at your creativity, until there's absolutely nothing left. And this is that final moment of pure panic. The deadline hits. It's a physical feeling, isn't it? That jolt of adrenaline, that split second of pure dread. The procrastination trap has just snapped shut. So what we just felt, it actually has a name: academic procrastination. It's really just a formal way of describing that cycle of delaying and delaying. It's important to remember this isn't some personal feeling. It's a super common response to things like heavy workloads and the never-ending distractions we all face. Okay, so now that we've really felt the problem, let's look at why it happens. We often think we need to feel like doing something to actually get it done, but that sets up this huge battle between two very, very different forces: motivation and discipline. And this is the core of the issue, right? We sit around waiting for motivation to strike, but it is completely unreliable. It's an emotion, a feeling. It comes and goes. Relying on it is kind of like trying to sail a ship by just hoping the wind blows in the right direction. This fire analogy makes the difference crystal clear. Motivation, that's the match. It's that bright, exciting spark that gets you started. It's awesome, but it burns out fast. Discipline, though. Discipline is the wood. It's the fuel that keeps that fire burning steadily all night long after that initial excitement is gone. So here's the bottom line. When you wait for motivation, you are literally handing your emotions the remote control to your life. You're not in the driver's seat anymore. You're just a passenger. Discipline is how you take back the wheel. Okay, so we've established discipline is the answer. But how do you build it without making learning feel like a total chore? Well, the trick is to create a system that's so engaging, you don't even need to rely on raw willpower. And that system, it's built on stories. And that's the big question, isn't it? How on earth do you apply this to something as big and complex as learning a new language? It sounds pretty abstract, but there are actually concrete tools out there designed specifically for this. Let me introduce you to the first tool, the graded reader. Just think of a classic story or a brand new adventure, but it's been carefully rewritten with vocabulary and grammar that are at your specific learning level. You get all the joy of getting lost in a story without the frustration of stopping every 2 seconds to look up a word. And the benefits here are huge. You're not just memorizing boring word lists, you're absorbing vocabulary naturally, in context. You start reading faster, your confidence goes way up, and you stay engaged because the stories are actually interesting. It turns learning into a genuine pleasure, not a task you have to check off. This whole idea of learning through stories has even been turned into a structured method. It's called TPRS, which stands for Teaching Proficiency Through Reading and Storytelling. It's a pretty simple 3-step process. First, you learn a few keywords. Second, you use those words to create a simple spoken story together. And third, you read a story that uses those exact same words. It's a really effective cycle that just builds on itself. But look, even with the best system in the world, taking that first step can still be the hardest part. So let's talk about a simple, almost ridiculously powerful trick to get you moving every single time. That enemy we're all fighting, that, I just don't want to feeling, it has a name: the arc of resistance. It feels like this giant, impossible mountain you have to climb, but in reality, it's just a small hill right at the very beginning. And the trick to get over that hill is the 5-minute rule. It's beautiful in its simplicity. You just pick one task, you set a timer for only 5 minutes, and this is the most important part, you give yourself complete permission to stop when that timer goes off. The goal isn't to finish anything, the goal is just to start. And this is exactly why it works so well. The 5-minute rule completely bypasses the overwhelming idea of the work. Your brain just can't put up a fight against 5 minutes. But what you'll find, I promise, is that 90% of the time once you're over that little hill, you just keep on going.
I love this analogy. Think about it. Discipline isn't about waiting for the pool water to warm up. It's about having the courage to just jump into that cold water, knowing that after a minute or so, your body is going to adjust and it'll feel fine, maybe even refreshing. The 5-minute rule, that's your jump.
So we've covered the problem, we've talked about the tools, and we have our first step. But the final piece of the puzzle is what makes discipline feel almost effortless. It's a fundamental shift in your mindset from focusing on what you do to focusing on who you are. Think about it. It's actually so simple. What makes someone a photographer? Well, they take photos. So what makes someone an English learner? They practice English. It's not about reaching some final destination. It's about claiming the process itself as part of your identity. This little shift in your language is everything. Saying "I'm trying" actually implies that you might fail. It gives you an out. But when you start saying "I am a person who practices English daily," it's not a choice you have to make anymore. It's just a simple reflection of who you are. The action becomes almost automatic. And that brings us to the ultimate reframe of this whole thing. Discipline is no longer a struggle. It's just you acting in a way that's consistent with your new identity. Every single time you practice, even for just 5 minutes, you are casting a vote for being that person. So I'll leave you with this one question. Not what do you feel like doing, not even what should you do, but instead ask yourself this: what would a dedicated learner, the person you want to become, do right now? The answer isn't to wait for inspiration, it's to start.